Good morning and welcome back to Other Worlds Wednesday here on Gaming with ADHD, where today we're going to take a look at the Loke Battle Mats Big Book of Cyberpunk Battle Mats. Now, I'm not exactly sure when this was released. I do not see a copyright on the book, but I've been digging into all sorts of role-playing games lately, and in some post-Christmas sales, I actually picked up a couple of their fantasy books, but when I was trying to figure out how to use the Amazon gift card my in-laws gave me, I came across these, and I figured, you know what? I'm much more partial to the futuristic or sci-fi kind of settings anyways, so I figured let's check it out. So before we get started, do make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. I do try to put out a few videos each week covering all sorts of tabletop gaming content, whether it's board games, miniatures, card games, role-playing games, or anything in between. I like to check it all out, and love for you to come along and see what I have to share. So don't forget, like the video if you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel if you find it useful, and with that said, let's go ahead and get started. All right. Now, as I said, I did pick this up on Amazon for about $25. I believe... I don't have the invoice of what I paid for it, but it was around $25. So not too expensive. And I'll kind of go over what I think of the production quality, whether I think it's a good value, as we go through. Basically, what we'll do is we're going to go through and just take a look at the different art and see how it holds up. I do apologize for the lights reflecting off the top. It is a very glossy book, and so there is that to take into consideration. All right, so first off, I will point out part of the reason for the highly reflective surface, it is compatible with dry erase markers. I have a few of them here that we will test out. Keep in mind, I don't know where my good dry erase markers went, so we'll see how well these work. They do write, just how well they show up is going to be a different story. But it is designed so that you can use dry erase markers or wet erase markers and actually, mark down things that you're going to need. So like here we've just, like on the inside and or on the front and the back cover, they just have generic grids. So this one has no art on it at all. It's just plain. Whereas this one looks sort of like a tiled surface. And so you can just take your marker and so, okay, let's say that there's a fire going on there, and we've got say a fountain over here, classic game master art, as it were. And let's put some heavy walls along here, and then we've got a tree down there. Wow, the green does not show up on camera very well at all, but as you can see, goes on clean and wipes off. So it might be shiny and reflect the lights on the infamously small work table, but obviously it's for good reason. So 100% approve of the fact that it's compatible with the dry erase markers. All right, so going here, it looks like we've got like a small motel in a cul-de-sac. It does have a grid on it, so if you're playing like D20 Modern or some other, we'll call it D&D clone, that's a more modern setting, obviously it's going to be designed for that. It does say it's designed for Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk does use a a grid-based movement system based on your move characteristic. It I did research the rules. I have them. I have not been able to play Cyberpunk Red yet. So you do have to do some conversion with the ranges, but essentially everything is going to be about a 5-foot or 2-meter square, depending on which measurement system that you want to use. But again, it's nice that it's there. The lines are easy to see, and in many cases they seem appropriate. Like down here they're using it for tile. Up here it could be tile in the stores and around the counters. It does obviously seem a little bit more out of place on the streets. Whereas the sidewalks, obviously it could be different pieces of concrete. So that makes sense. But I do like how with like the tables or the street lights, they didn't draw the line going through it, because you could still kind of tell where it is. So it seems a little bit better there. So a good use of actually integrating the grid into the play surface, so that it actually hides it pretty well. So I absolutely applaud them on that. Overall, I mean, it's absolutely capturing that pink mohawk style cyberpunk look. Lots of neon reflections, things like that. Parking garages. Obviously, we've got 2 different lanes. Down here, we've got the stairwell, so you could either say it's going up or down, depending on which direction you need it to go. There's building tops, or actually, I guess this would be ground level with a bunch of smaller buildings. But then I like the little touches of graffiti around the map as well. Looks like a subway system full of neon advertisements. Helicopter pad on the top. I'm going to guess a skyscraper. Would make sense to me. Convenience store. Office building. So you've got reception and some offices. I do like this spiral, in between. The way that they describe it is that each mat is 12 by 8. It is a little bit shorter than that. Across each page, not counting the spine, is roughly 8 inches. Actually, a little bit more than 8 inches. But it's actually a little shorter than 12 inches. So not perfect, but close enough for government work. It's about maybe a 1/4 inch too short. So, you're not really losing anything for that. We've got another office building. This one looks more for like, computer programming. You've got, little computer workstations everywhere. I like that. Makes me feel like I'm at work. Not really. I get to work from home, but that's a separate issue. So lots of different office buildings, obviously. I'm not entirely sure what this is. Game Master, figure it out. Could be all sorts of things. But then it looks like we've got like some server racks in here. Obviously, different security monitoring stations. This one I like, although might be a little hard to play with. It's multiple layers. So kind of like a hab complex. So you've got like an apartment over here, some apartments over here, which are very narrow but very long. And then you've got a little walkway outside, and then you can see the different floors down below. Now, I think it throws it off because you've got the standard squares down at the bottom. Personally, I would have just, done everything to scale, which obviously would be harder for miniatures. But I mean, as a game master, if I'm running this, I'm basically going to say that this area is quote unquote off limits. Otherwise, you're falling and you can't use a parachute inside, at least not 3 floors up. So you're going to hurt. But obviously, 3 floors up, it's going to be at a little bit different scale. So that is what I would say, but that's just me. All right, subway entrance, probably a park or like office building, open area, roads, house, warehouse, docks for shipping containers. This kind of looks like a park. Maybe it's a pool, skateboarding. I don't know. Chemical factory, monster truck arena. Obviously, I mean, it's something out like in the wastelands or whatever. Got some wrecked cars. Badlands kind of area, so residential areas that have fallen into disrepair. A road out in the wastelands. Buildings, being completely reclaimed out in the wastelands. Grass. Abandoned train station. Toxic waste shantytown. I don't know. Anyways, so that's it. I mean, honestly, there's not a 60 pages worth of battle mats, so you're getting about 30 different maps, or 60 if you're cutting them in half. But overall, like I said, I like it. They give you a good variety. They'd be great for, like I said, any kind of a modern tactical style role-playing game. Cyberpunk, D20 Modern. I looked at the rules for Shadowrun as far as combat, because every time that I've played, we've done Theater of the Mind, haven't used maps. And even the rules very much promote Theater of the Mind. So the grid isn't going to be as useful, but if you do want to be able to represent, hey, looks more like this is where my character is, and at least get those general representations in, you can do that. One other point that I did want to make, because they also talk about it on the sale page, the fact that you can just show half of the map is fantastic. So if you don't need the whole thing, or if you just have a very limited space, you can do that, like the infamously small work table. In fact, one of my favorite games of Shadowrun was at Gen Con, and we were playing it in the lobby of a hotel, and we were just, it was the hotel lobby furniture. We didn't have a giant table. So being able to have something like this to at least just give people a representation but not take up a lot of your limited space is going to be useful as well. So honestly, I really think this is a fantastic value. I think $25 is perfectly reasonable to ask for, especially when you consider, like for me, $20 is kind of like that amount where I'm not going to think about it too much. I mean, obviously, don't break your budget, if you don't have to. But for me, $20 is kind of in that range where I'm not going to have to think about it too hard. And so it's right there. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'm glad I picked these up. And as I'm digging into more role-playing games this year, it's going to be a lot more fun to be able to have accessories like this available. So what do you think? Do you use these? Have you used these kinds of maps before? Obviously, there are the limitations where the map is fixed, but that's where your dry erase markers are going to come in and let you actually modify it as needed. So what do you think? Let me know it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And as I said, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And also, I keep forgetting to say this. I will have links down to social media if you are interested. And also, if you do purchase role-playing games, there is an affiliate link to DriveThruRPG, which does help out the channel if you use it. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but would appreciate it. So with all of that said, I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.